All right, everyone, we are on part 3 of our ADU series here. And again, thank you so much, Marco Melendrez Contracting Company, and sharing all of your thoughts and ideas on how to build generational wealth using ADUs. So today, what we're going to be focusing on is what to look for in a property when it comes to locating a home that is qualified for an ADU. So can you describe what an investor or if somebody already owns these types of properties, what does that look like? What's an ideal property that we would want to purchase?
Yeah, sure. Of course, a property with a good location, it's always a plus. And we're looking for property with land, with some extra land or big lot. That's a goal, of course, because we have options to build attached, detached, and still some backyard is going to be left. So those are really good properties for ADUs investment. Also properties that has an alley on the back. Those are even better properties. That's probably kind of my personal goal for the next one.
Alleys.
Alleys on the back, yeah, because you'll be able to build, of course, with a big lot as well, be able to build an ADU on the back, a B1, up to 1,200 square feet, as we mentioned before.
Yeah.
Then sometime the rule SB9, to be honest, I'm not sure if that's start getting an effect or it will be sometime soon. Mm-hmm. But when that happens, you're going to be able to divide the property. So when that happens, you're going to have 2 houses now. So you'll be able to add ADUs to both. It was an ADU, but now becomes a single family somehow. So then you can build an ADUs on that property in a junior, and the same way on the original house, an ADU junior. So an alley, it's gold on this type of property, investment properties, yes. And of course, a multifamily lot, a multifamily area, it gives you so many options to build more than 2 or 3 units.
Now, I want to take a moment and elaborate on the SB9 because I think it's so important right now for San Diego County with the low inventory that we have and the high demand for housing needs, how that's going to affect our real estate market and what we're seeing now and what's going to happen when that actually does start applying. So, Ruben, I know that you and I, all 3 of us, we were talking about this even more so yesterday on how that's going to affect home values. How's the SB9? Well, first off, let's talk about what it is.
Yeah, I'm like, don't ask me how I'm going to do a loan on SB9 yet. It's such a new idea, right? Yeah. Like the SB9, where you're going to build what is now an ADU, and potentially down the road, you're going to be able to make it a single family residence, and you're going to be able to sell it if you want to sell it, or just separate it, and it's going to have its own parcel. So it's going to be its own land, own property. That's amazing. That's what Marcos was saying, that down the road, that's going to allow you to build more ADUs attached to that property because now it's become its own property.
Yeah. So for our consumers that have been watching for the past couple of episodes, we were talking about how even the ADUs that we currently have, how they have their own separate address number. So each one of those address numbers with the SB9 policy in place, what that's going to allow the real estate market is to sell those separately from the original property. Now, I don't know about you, but what I'm thinking as a real estate professional, that's going to drive up costs because if you're looking at a 800 or 1,200 square feet ADU in someone's backyard, selling it as a single family residence, right? Yeah. They have their own private entrance, their own type of parking, completely separate from that. I mean, that's going to double, if not quadruple our inventory, number one. It gives opportunities for investors who are already collecting the passive income already. Now they can grow their wealth building from actually selling it outright. So with the SB9, that is it's yet to be implemented.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of questions about whether or not that's going to actually happen. There's still a lot of uncertainty of how that's going to affect the real estate market, especially in today's world in San Diego County. However, I think what's really smart that we're all doing right now is that we're getting ahead of the game.
Yes. Yeah.
So staying on top of that and having a mindset of how can I house hack? How can I make this possible with the numbers? And how can we pull this into the generational wealth building as an investment mindset? That is how you get ahead, and that is how you stay on top of that trend. So the next thing that I also wanted to talk about is how do you even find and locate these types of properties? I know that the first thing that you had talked about is you have to find a property with lot space, specifically alleyways. So as a real estate professional, I know that we work very closely with Lawyers Title. Shout out to Rebecca Ives and Carla Erickson if you are listening to this episode right now. As a real estate professional, I have created 10 powerful ways on how to outsource off-market properties. So let's dive into that.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay, so number one here is driving for dollars. Now, as an investor and for somebody who's been in this industry for 20 plus years, have you all experienced just driving down a neighborhood and think to yourself, well, hey, that property looks abandoned, or that property looks like, you know, it might have been neglected over the past 10 plus years, over the past decade, and just thought that you'd knock on the door and see whether or not this was a possibility. I don't know. Have you guys experienced anything like that?
I've seen houses like that I wonder. Exactly. Yeah. Like I wonder, why is it empty? Why is it run down? Maybe the owners don't live there and they live somewhere else and the home has been just left to rot in a way. So yeah, it's come across my mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Driving for dollars. Have you done it, Marcos?
Yes, yeah, we see, of course, the same empty properties, and sometimes they're even sitting on a gold mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're wondering, like Ruben says, if it was there, it's not occupied, or we can buy it and build all those ADUs on it. Yes,
Absolutely.
We'll see those properties.
Now, as a real estate professional, I also have the tools to where I can literally take a picture of a property, and this app that I currently have right now, it will give to me the property profile, whether or not there's a loan balance, whether or not there's a probate, whether or not there was a death on the property or anything. So using a real estate professional to help you outsource these types of off-market properties is essential if you really want to snag a deal. So that's number one. Number two, direct mail campaigns. I don't know about you, but I mail campaigns every single day at my office, and I'm with Keller Williams San Diego Metro. Shout out to my leadership team over there. They're holding me accountable for all of the postage stamps that I send. What I do after driving for dollars, taking a picture of a property, pulling up their property profile, is I go and I mail to them. A lot of times these are absentee owners or tired landlords. So mailing campaigns, they do work, especially if you're sending out a golden letter, and if you have an active buyer who might be interested in purchasing the property. So number three, we also have networking with wholesalers. Now, Marcos, how many wholesalers do you know, or how many do you have in your back pocket right now?
I don't have any wholesalers, by the way.
Okay.
Right now, usually, yeah, my top of client has been people who not invested, like I said before, people who actually own the property, or they buy the property long time ago and they have the equity, and as we discussed before. On my experience, that's most of the clients that I've been working with. Yes.
Have you had any experience, Ruben, working with a wholesaler?
I have. I've been on their list where I get properties sent to me. I have a few that constantly send me properties. So yes. Now, I haven't actually done a transaction with one of them. I've gone and looked at a property before, but didn't do anything as far as pulling the trigger. But yeah, there is wholesalers out there that send you lists. It'd be nice if you can get the list before it's scrubbed, because sometimes once you see it, 100 other people saw it, and you're in a bidding war.
Yeah. And for our audience here, if you don't know what wholesalers are, these are people who are actually going out looking for properties before they hit the market. And they're actually putting a list together and feeding them over to other investors who are looking to flip properties or take them as their own before they give it to a licensed real estate agent to put it for sale on the market. So networking with wholesalers is another way in finding off-market properties. The next is probate attorneys and estate planners. So establishing a relationship with attorneys, especially in this industry. I know that we talked about, divorce right now is on a high rise to off-market properties, and having a relationship with an attorney. And I think you had mentioned to me you have some, attorneys. I think we talked about that yesterday as well. What are your experiences working with an attorney, or have you networked with someone who has a pocket of or a list of properties that haven't hit the market?
I've been on the side of financing the purchases where the attorneys have a client that's getting divorced and they have to sell the property. That's the side that I get to see. Unfortunately, that side of the financing of whoever's buying the property. But I have not been on the side, because as a mortgage lender, I don't see the side of the sale like you would see, right, as a realtor, that you have access to that and you'll be able to see those properties come to you before they hit the market.
Yeah. How about you, Marcos?
To be honest, I don't have any experience on that. Basically, we start our own path on as an investor on this property and a property before. Basically, like I said, I've been building for people. So yeah, we haven't touched or getting that type of property so far, but we're looking to it for the next one, because I know you can get a really good deals on those type of properties too.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to note on off-market properties that I found, because I have actually wholesaled properties to other investors as well myself, is they're distressed sellers. These are people who are relocating, people who have lost their job, people who have had a death in their family, and the person who had passed away was the breadwinner of the family. So there's a lot of different case-by-case scenarios where they have to sell. And in most cases, they don't want to have to stage their home, remodel their property, put it on the market, and put it at an open house. So having to network with a legal service provider like an attorney or even other people who are involved with those types of situations is essential to finding off-market properties, because as a real estate professional, we're critical thinkers and creative problem solvers. And for us, we're here to provide them the solutions that they need and to make it easier for them to offset any financial means through the real estate properties. So, big way. The next one here is property management companies. So landlords, sometimes they want to sell the listing publicly. And I think it's very helpful to network with property management companies because they're the first ones to know whether or not their clients are no longer interested in collecting a passive income check. So that's another big one. Property management companies and tax delinquent lists. I don't know about you. Have you ever heard of tax liens?
Yes, I see the list. I believe it's around April, May, sometime in those months during the year when they become on auction, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I see those lists. I never bid for, but yeah, I believe all those properties, they're a good option to do an investment for this type of a business that we've been discussed. Yes.
And if you don't know about tax liens, this is where property owners have defaulted on their mortgages and completely just abandoned the home. They do have an opportunity to redeem the property, which is also known as a redemption period for a property owner. If they do not redeem the property within the 6 to 9 month time frame. Then it goes into pre-foreclosure and then foreclosure, and then it's auctioned out. So a lot of investors who have deep pockets, this is a really good way to get pennies on the dollar for a property. It's very high risk, and the biggest reason why is because you're not allowed to view the property before placing an auction or a bid on the home. But it is one lucrative way on how to get off-market properties as well.
Yes.
Another one is code violation lists. So properties with city violations often signal distress, contact owners with solutions. So this is also with judgments, with mechanical liens, anything of that sort too. There's also an additional list that gives you any of property owners that owe, and they're utilizing their properties as collateral to hold them against any debt that they owe. So that's another list that we can also network with people and find out.
And I'm assuming that when you're doing something like that, it's good to have like yourself with a general contractor if there's for the distressed properties, to make sure that what you're buying, it's in adequate enough to be able to build on it. Because if you buy something and there's additional costs because it's falling apart, you have to know that, right?
Absolutely.
Before you make that investment.
Absolutely. So as a real estate professional, it's my job to make sure that we calculate the after repair value, which is also known as the ARV. ARV, in most cases for investors, they look for, okay, how much is this property going to be worth after repairs?
Yeah.
And what is the cost of those repairs? Because they want to know, okay, how much am I risking here? How much of my own money do I have to take from my own back pocket without a bridge loan to compensate for the repairs of this home? So it's really important working with a real estate professional who understands what those numbers look like and what they have to be. And especially if you're targeting a 10% return on investment, a 25% return on investment, before you even purchase a property that's off market, you got to make sure that those numbers are dialed in.
Yeah, agree with you 100% on that.
Okay. And then next we have expired and withdrawn listings. This is an underrated list. We do get a list every single day. We get expired listings all the time due to, overpriced listings or whatever the case may be, the condition of the property, ugly homes, whatever you want to call them. As a real estate professional, I'm a cold caller. So I actually call these property owners and I say, hey, what happened? Why do you think your property didn't sell? And even come in with a mindset of, well, I'm a cash buyer. How can we make this work together? Let's sit down, make this a win-win for all, make sure that the numbers are dialed in, and let's see if we can move forward from there. And then we have 9, community engagement. So just networking with many homeowners, whether it's from church, military, local groups, having to communicate with them that you are a real estate professional working with a general contractor and a mortgage broker as a team to help them find the right appropriate solution to move forward from whatever financial means that they're facing with. And then lastly, which is, I think, our personal favorite, is social media and personal brand, which is what we're doing here today. Having to consistently post every single week, right? We're posting these videos, providing the value, the education, and breaking down the numbers, busting all of those myths that are out there in what it takes to building an ADU, and how we make the deals work with the numbers, I think is so important and key for social media and our audience to view.
I can't stress enough how important it is to have a team. When you're going to do something like this, to have a team like ourselves, for example, you have the person that's going to finance, the person that's going to help you look, and the person that's going to help you build. Because when you have the right team, it takes all the stress away from the buyer or the investor, and it puts it on us and the experience we bring to the table. Because you need that to make these things happen and to make them happen without feeling like everything's falling apart.
Absolutely. And especially if you have the right system in place and people who are specifically focused in a specific area, like building ADUs, and the financing guy who's going to make it happen, with a real estate professional who's going to make sure that the numbers are actually analyzed, looked over not once, not twice, but triple the time. That's going to give our consumer the peace of mind knowing that whatever deal that comes across their table, they know that it's backed with credibility, trust, and a foundational support.
I agree, 200%.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, we're here. Thank you for inviting me on this section. And yeah, we're here to be, as I said at the beginning, be transparent with the people out there who have so many questions, to be honest and give them real numbers, real world. This is what we do. This is what it costs. So people know before time what they're getting into it, if they're ready for these, so they know they can start and finish. And that's what we're here for. Yep.
We're here to make it smooth, nice and easy, and we're here to bring them the deals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, Marcos. Our viewers and our followers really appreciate you taking the time to give us this information and being so transparent, because this is what it's really about, right? We want to be transparent, and hopefully they'll reach out, and when they reach out, we'll come to you.
Yes. So if you are looking to get into the ADU business and want to find out what an actual deal looks like and sit down with us, give us a call today. Our information is right here down below. Don't be scared now. We're here to bring you from fear to confidence in building real estate, generational wealth. Thanks for watching.